perspective.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. It's Worldwide Regression Week, and I am joined with my co-host, Candace Craw-Goldman. How are you doing, Candace?
Shane, I am riding on those beautiful fluffy clouds that are probably in Oklahoma as well as up here in Kansas. It's been an amazing few days, a great week, lots of wonderful things going on. I feel wonderful, and I'm so happy to be here with you and your community. Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure to have you here, Candace. I'm so glad that you took the time out of your probably the most busiest week of your whole year, right?
It's ended up to be the absolute busiest week of the year, and for my family as well, for my husband and my daughter. And you know what, she's in the middle of a cross country move. She literally has the moving trucks coming in 6 days. It's
uh,
kind of insane, but it's been wonderful. The energy is crazy wonderful.
well, I don't envy her. I hate moving, and it's down on my list for sure.
Agreed.
Okay, so for those who don't know, it was Dolores Cannon's birthday on the 15th of April, and of course, that's why this is chosen to be Worldwide Regression Week because of the tremendous amount of work she's done in this field and how much everybody admires her. I know that she was my introduction into this whole quantum world, and I didn't know she had passed away when I first got into her. So I'm like, I've got to go meet this lady. And I don't know how many people have done that and then realize that she passed away. You know, I can't be the only one. So anyway, yeah, we're honoring Dolores Cannon and all the wonderful work she's done. And I can't tell you how much this last year for me, actually getting into this field has been just, oh gosh, so mind expanding and awesome and exciting. There's just so much to this whole quantum strangeness, if you will.
It's just been amazing. You know, we had the first worldwide regression day just last year, and we didn't do much that day, but it was such a big hit that I thought, you know, maybe we should kind of pick it up a little bit this year. And it got really big, really fast. And, you know, I wanted myself to produce about a couple different shows on some of my own kind of pet projects during this time, including this one. Shh, nobody even knows this. Shh, don't tell anyone. Shh. I actually have not one, not two, I have three other people besides myself who are going to join me in a roundtable. All four of us have had regressions with Dolores Cannon, and we're going to compare notes. And I was kind of hoping to do that during this week, but I had too many other things to do to take care of everybody else's events and shows. But that's coming. Lots of wonderful things going on this week, and the response has been really just truly magnificent from all of you all out there who love Dolores and love this work. So I thank you.
When you really consider how many people she affected and then how many people they've affected, you can really see how one person has quite literally changed the world, you know, with the work she's done. And it's amazing.
She has. Shane, while you were, I really feel her here. When you were saying that you didn't know she died, she started talking to me. Dolores would always say in her courses that she would say, they say I'm going to be working until I'm 100. And so what we all assumed was she was going to live to be 100. You know what? I don't think so. I think this passing into the spirit realm, she saw the opportunity to be able to be closer to many more people. And somehow she is more popular now than she was when she was alive. At least that's what it feels like to me. I'm no longer dealing with her heirs and her former company. But from my own perspective and in my own projects, it just keeps getting bigger. And people feel very, very close to her. And then they think, wow, I didn't get a chance to meet her. But from my perspective, she is easier to get in touch with now, even for me. And I worked with her.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. It's like, wow, she's able to really take multitasking to a whole new level now, isn't she?
Indeed, indeed.
That's exciting. So, okay, so what's been going on in your quantum world? Have you even had much time as far as being a practitioner, or
Not lately, not lately. I will say what we've done, and anyone who's been on our directory, who's, you know, taken QHHT and is on our directory, or taken BQH, or is just a Reiki master or anything and is on our directory, knows that our directory is on a URL, our support forum community is on another URL, and then I have my own BQH course. We have some other courses in the works, and we've been using Ruzuku. So this is 3 URLs, which is kind of no fun. It gets a little confusing, you know, which I'm trying to log into, you know, like, so anyway, for about a year or longer, we've been putting together a unified platform. This is a huge deal. This is so big. And it's got a lot of working parts. And so we're working on that, but that's coming right along. And then hopefully, you know, sometime in the near future, maybe early next year, quantumhealers.com will take you to all of those things, right?
oh, nice.
Yes, it's really, really great. And we're also in the middle of translating the BQH course into German, into Spanish, into French, and into Japanese. And
Oh,
right
wow.
now, the Spanish and German are neck and neck. I don't know which one we're going to come out with first. I was really hoping it would be French, because guess what? All in all, the kind of emails that I get, the French uh, fans and practitioners and practitioner wannabes inquire more about the class being offered in French than in any other language, which I find really interesting with what's going on in the world with the energies over in France right now.
Which is really strange. And what do you think about that? Because that just happened to coincidentally align with Dolores Cannon's birthday. What's up with that?
Yeah, zero coincidence. Zero. Zero. So for
Right.
those of you who don't know it, and I was showing Shane. Dolores wrote not one, not two, but 3 volumes on Nostradamus. And Nostradamus actually, you know, it's the Latin version of the word Our Lady, which is of course Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reviewing another show that I did back in 2015 on the astrological comparison of Dolores and Nostradamus. There was one statement in that show, which was like 2 hours, but that was, we were kicking around the idea that Nostradamus was simply a fractal, another version of Dolores Cannon herself.
Mm.
So this was her birthday. And, you know, it was also the beginning of the fire, the Beltane. And there's so much to talk about it. There's just so much to talk about. And you and I were before this show started, and what did we do? We scheduled a time to talk about it, didn't we?
Exactly. And yeah, we'll let you guys know that we're going to be back to dive in deeper with that because it's just too much to cover in a short amount of time. But May 2nd at 1 p.m. Central Time. Right.
Yeah, we're going to get back together and talk about this in depth. So much to talk about, and I think we'll probably know more by then.
Yeah. Yeah, more and more is getting exposed every day. And it's just cool because,
In sessions. So those of you out there who are doing sessions, and if you have a high level client, and or if it comes through, or you might ask them before you even start the session if it would be appropriate to ask about it, see what comes through, let us know.
that's interesting. Yeah, that's a whole new avenue that I got to get used to, exploring, I
Right, right,
guess.
exactly.
So, have you found that a lot of people, how are people, I know there's a lot of new practitioners going in every month, and, are you finding people are enjoying it or apprehensive about getting started, or how does it, I guess there's a whole gamut of responses, I'm sure, but what's your take on it?
Gosh, well, you might remember that we ask everyone to fill out a little a little exit survey when they're done with the course. It alerts us to, create
Right.
the completion certificate. And it also asks just a couple of questions, how can we do better? And is there a quote that you can use? And I've been collecting quotes now since July of last year. And they sometimes just bring me to tears. I mean, to absolute tears. Overwhelming, incredible, unanimous kind of support. Every once in a while, somebody will actually say something, and then we go, "Yeah, we could do that. We might do that to kind of, make things a little bit better." But overwhelmingly, the support and the accolades have been astonishing to read. It's on my list of things to do to make an extra page on, near our BQH link in the on the directory to kind of list those. I worry sometimes about publishing too many of these because, as we all know in this community, too much of that is too much sales stuff. And nobody likes that, including me. I don't like that. Nobody likes that. But I have to tell you, I spend a lot of my time answering emails where people actually ask me, well, what are other people saying about the class? And here I have I have hundreds of statements I've been given permission to use. So I'm trying to create a way to share those statements. It's been astonishing. You know what the one I got today was? The last one I got before the show was, thank you, better than many university classes I've taken.
Wow.
You gotta like that. You just gotta like that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I know the testing was easier than the university test I've taken.
You
But
know, the testing simply it's just a marker thing, right? If you're paying attention at all, it's not really to see if you're absorbing
no,
information.
I think it was great. I mean, because it was easy, but
Yeah.
there was a few times that I was like, I need to go back and read. I think I zoned out a little bit. So yeah, it's a good indicator if you were paying attention or not, because it's super easy.
Yeah, super easy. And some of those I was a little tricky in some of those because sometimes people make assumptions, and the assumptions don't even really have anything to do with the class. The assumptions tend to be something that is more regular in other methods or even other classes. Here's an example. I ask people, it's important that you do every single step in every, you have to do it exactly the way I do it, is basically one of the questions I write. And the answer is no. The whole idea of BQH.
Right. I knew that one. That was a gimme
Right?
for me, because I knew, I was like, well, that's the whole foundation of BQH, is that you can
Exactly.
come with your modalities and your tools that you already have there and integrate it however you see fit. And
Yeah.
I think it can fit in with really anything. It just seems like something nice to have in your toolbox of things you do, no matter what you do.
It's a permission slip thing, just a
Yeah.
slip. And you were one of the practitioners who helped create some of the 5-minute videos that we've been producing on our Quantum Healers YouTube page. And I think you answered one of the questions about, your very first session, et cetera, and advice you would give to new practitioners. And we had many other quantum healers do that. And such terrific advice. And so much of it is, have fun, enjoy yourself, and remember that it's not really work. And it's not about memorizing anything, and it's really about being present and opening up your heart and watching the magic happen. And sometimes the magic doesn't seem to happen, right? A lot of people try to compare what goes on in their sessions with maybe things they've seen on YouTube or even Dolores' stories, or other people's stories. And the thing is to this day, some of my favorite session outcomes are when I'm sitting there looking at a client and I don't know what's going on. And sometimes they're not saying anything. And sometimes it's only later that you realize what kind of magic actually occurred right there. And as long as you're not really worrying about it and fretting about it and comparing what's going on there with what you've read or seen or even to other sessions you've had, you're
Yeah.
golden.
Yeah, and that's probably, I mentioned that in the short video I made. That was probably my biggest surprise, is how little I have to do. I mean, I don't have to make the magic. I guess I felt like I had to make the magic happen when I
Right.
was going into it. I'm like, I hope I can do this. But it's really, you're just sitting in on a group meeting. Are you getting the chills there?
Yeah, but I'm hearing Dolores, and you know what she just said? She said, "No, no, it's not that you have to make the magic. You have to believe in the magic. That's
Yeah.
what it is." Which
And
is
stay out of the way, really.
exactly stop trying to control it, and
Yeah.
trying to squash it and make it fit into a box. And
Yeah.
as long as are open to magic, it happens.
It totally does. And I would say that's probably my biggest relief going into it is that, oh, wow, I'm just here. I'm just helping out. I'm the helper. I'm not the person making this happen at all. So that's
Exactly.
totally cool.
Exactly. I realized this, looking back on my career of doing this now for 11 years. One of the big lessons of that I actually learned in my very first year, because in my very first class, I sat right next to a 20-year, just about to retire, actually, hypnotherapist who lived in Fayetteville and who was sitting in on Dolores's class kind of as a lark, right? He was like, well, I want to find out what's going on here with this lady. And we met again the next year, in Dolores's next summer of courses, and sat next to each other and compared notes. And I'd already started the Yahoo support group. We'd already, but I don't believe this fella joined in. He was too involved in his own stuff. But I remember looking at him. He was such a great guy, and his wife was there, and I liked him so much. And he was like, well, how did it go for you over this last year? How, what were your sessions like? And I'm like, they were magical, and this happened and that happened, and I went this star and that thing happened and this crazy thing happened, and how was yours? And you know what he said? He said, I tried it a dozen times and nothing ever really happened. And I'm like, huh. And I thought, here's a man who had hypnosis basics understanding. I didn't know anything. I was an artist, photographer.
Right.
I had a terrible voice. I took this excited voice with me into a hypnosis session, and that did not work. I had to retrain myself and my voice to a much different version of a voice to do a quantum healing session. But I know now what's happening. He went into these sessions like this. Okay, show me. Prove it to me. I'm not sure. I have all these doubts about this thing here. I've done it this way, but I kind of want to know. So he came into it, not Dolores is here. He didn't believe in the magic, is what he. And that's
Exactly.
it. This guy who had all of these tools and skills didn't believe in the magic, and I was all over the magic. That
See,
was
I believed in the magic, but when it started actually happening, I was still surprised and caught off guard. I'm like, wow, it's really working. Where do we? Okay, stick to the
there you
script. And so,
go.
yeah, that's just start doing it, and you will be amazed. That's all I would have to say to anybody sort of nervous about getting into it. But it's been a really cool thing, and that's why one of the reasons why I talk about the somnambulistic level as, hey, it's a rare thing, is because I think a lot of people go into it thinking that, hey, everybody goes into the state where they don't remember anything. And I see that going around a lot where people, I mean, it is a rare thing from what I've seen so far. It's like, I don't know, the diamond in the rough, so to speak. It's really cool. In all sessions, people seem to get what they need. So I don't think that's like a litmus test on whether or not a session went well or not. But it is a cool thing when you see it happen,
It
you
is
know?
cool. One of the questions that I get a lot, and I'm compiling I think I'm going to do a video with Debbie Hazelton about this.
Hmm.
Frequently asked questions on BQH, and one of the ones that I get right up there at the top is, some people say, well, can you bring your clients into the somnambulistic state like they do in QHHT? And see, the thing is it's, you can't answer that question without talking about this whole idea of expectation somnambulistic state. And it has nothing to do with really anything. I mean, as much as I love Dolores, I swear she is in this interview. Dolores is like, yeah, I kind of do, she kind of set up these expectations herself for the rest of us. She did not make it easy for us. And early on, when she first started doing this, remember, that was in the 70s even, the somnambulist state probably was even a little bit more common. And you know why? Because we didn't have an understanding of the higher self. And we didn't have the comfort of even thinking that there was another part of ourself that would speak differently, et cetera, et cetera. So we were probably, as a species, is what I'm saying, humans,
Right.
probably protecting our ego, are protecting us by, separating and going down and going to sleep almost in these sessions so that we could actually talk without freaking out. We no longer have to do that anymore. And it's the whole point, I think, of ascension, is combining all of these states of our consciousness and having them be accessible and part of who and how we live our lives today.
Do you think it's a sort of surfing between the left brain and the right brain as a client, I guess, when they're going into it? Because I know sometimes clients are afraid to speak because they think they're just repeating something they've heard, or they've got these fears. But I notice they always get back to that left brain over analyzing, and it's like, I think you're just overthinking this. Just tell me what you see. We can analyze it later,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're in the moment and you start analyzing it, it's going to sort of break up that connection. Don't you feel like? Would you say that to anybody going into this?
It's a big part of it. But at the root of that analyzing, Shane, I'll say once again, it has to do with belief system, because from the time you were really small, everybody told you to stop believing things that were, my invisible friends, and stop believing that was true, and stop believing that there's a dragon in the garden, and stop believing that there's magic dust in the flower bed over there that you love to go, whatever, and it explodes.
Right.
I mean, you were told over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to stop that. So yes, your left brain logic is the tool that gets in the way, but it really boils down to that belief system. Because if you truly believe in magic, that the left brain can be placated and you can go this way. I think the true culprit is when deep down inside, that part of all of us that I believe we were born with, that excited childlike quality of anything is possible, and I can fly if I just jump high enough kind of feeling. Remember that when you're jump high enough, I could fly. That feeling. And it doesn't even always have to be about that. It's that feeling in your belly, that feeling. If you can still have that feeling, you can overcome your left brain, you can overcome logic, you can overcome all of that. But if you've squashed that down so far, and it's alive in everybody, by the way, but it could be, it could be this big in somebody, very deep, or it could be closer to the surface.
Yeah.
I think that's the real part of when a client is sitting in front of me. It's that sort of energetic thing that I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think going into it, it's important to drop any expectations you have, because they can only really hinder you, And I think it's been like that this whole time, when I look at some of Allison's great readings that she had, and she came on and spoke about it, and then, people got this idea of what the event would look like, and then they were let down because their expectations, you have no idea what's going on. We only see so much. So there could be so much going on that we don't see, and then we're just automatically thinking, oh, well, nothing happened. But I see the effects of things that have happened. And, so there's always, the magic's always occurring, but you could totally miss it right in front of you if you have those doubts and those disbeliefs,
Well, that's why I tell every client that I have, part of my prep for them is telling them about the sessions, where I had a client who said 0 words. Now what kind of video would that make, right? Nobody would watch that YouTube video. That, this person just laid there. But, ask me what happened 6 weeks later, Yeah, we talk about that on our forum. Somebody even I just read it right before we got on together today when I was looking at some new posts on our forum. And one was, we sometimes we don't do ourselves any favors by uploading some of these sessions to YouTube, because it does foster this, expectation thing. But we get so excited, and we like sharing this stuff. But I'm kind of the rogue about that always. I might just do myself a YouTube video all about what nothing went, my 6 sessions where nothing happened in my session, but then I'll tell the story about how all the lives changed anyway.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's not always something for the group, but it always seems like it's something the person needs or that helps advance them along their journey that they're on at the
Yeah.
time. So, and I know,
A small thing, just a
yeah,
teeny tiny thing, but it's crucial for their next step.
I think a lot of times people will like say binge watch Alba Weinman, which she puts the best of her best up there, and she even says that when she's like showing you how to do the stuff. You don't want to put the boring ones up there. You only want to put the best of the best up there. But I guess that sort of raises expectations too when you don't realize that hey, there were some in between that weren't so awesome, or
Yep.
it was just for that person, or it wasn't for the whole group, or whatever. But I think yeah, just to let go of all that because that's sort of left braining. It's only going to hurt the session on
Let
each
me tell
side.
you, let me tell you another secret. Shh, don't tell anyone this secret. Um, there were, when Dolores was still alive, she would have, now I'm not talking a lot, but I know of a handful of clients who contacted me or friends of mine, her own clients, who really wondered about their session, and they did that comparison thing. They were like, but I didn't go to planet, whatever, and then I didn't this, and my higher self, and then they thought they were a failure, right? And they
Hmm.
thought, well, Dolores, if it wouldn't have happened in front of Dolores Cannon, something was wrong with them, or they did it incorrectly, and they were very embarrassed. Some of them waited years for their session. They weren't going out crying, fraud or anything like that. They simply took it on themselves. And what we've learned from all of these, repeat after Dolores clients was their small discovery in Dolores's session helped them with their subsequent session, right? And when they really were talked about very specifically about expectations and how it really works, and not everything hits Dolores had all kinds of sessions, just like all of us do. That they're not all book worthy, right? They don't
Hmm.
make for entertaining reading. And how do you think those books sold? They were amazing to read. So yeah.
And that was one of the things when I realized the whole just the different depths that people get to and or whatever. It really gave me insight into Dolores and the work she did and why when she got on the Nostradamus project, she found that client that was a perfect match and that could go that deep, and she stuck with that client. And because at some level, some people are just more connected than others, in that way.
Yep. Her famous series with Phil, Keepers of the Garden.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't think he went to the planet with the spires until like his 10th session or whatever. Think about that. If somebody like that would have come to Dolores in the latter part of her career, he would have had his one session and moved on. This one session thing too that she did start teaching her students was just because that's how she ended up.
Right.
It didn't make much sense for her to, with a waiting list, to continue to work with anyone, especially if their session was either, uh, let's just say run of the mill. If it was
Hmm.
just a potato digging life is what she used to talk about. But I think the reason she worked with Phil was he, he just managed to slip into that deeper state, and then finally he was comfortable enough to begin to talk about his connection with the ET realm.
That's so cool too. That's just so mind blowing, and it really opens up the possibilities. I know that when I went into this, I thought it would be like all past life stuff, and it's almost all current stuff or someone who's currently died. Like maybe like think with my wife, her grandma had passed away last year, and she met with her in like current time. So it's, there's future, there's past, there's present, there's the unseen world. There's so many ways that this can go, and I've just learned not to limit anything and just hang on and see where we're going to go with it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Simple past life is, it's unusual for me and for most people to have just a simple past life regression. It just doesn't work like that anymore. And we're ready for more. That's
Is
me.
this the continuation of the trend that Dolores was seeing? You think when
Oh yeah.
she's seen the three waves and then
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the interesting thing is she used to sort of teach us, but it's true. She used to say, well, I don't know if you'll understand this, she'll say, or I don't know if you'll get sessions like this, and you may not at first. And it's because even though she didn't talk about it directly, she understood the thing that I was talking about earlier, that clinical hypnotherapist where really nothing was happening in his sessions because of his belief. Well, she was kind of like that too. She would talk about being spoon fed, right? She was spoon fed. At first the whole idea of past life was a big thing, and then she had to move on, and then pretty soon, it just kept getting, more and more. Her brain was opening up and accepting this stuff. And in general, the rest of us out here, well, our brains are wide open already. If our belief is, we're like, okay, well, show me that. So more and more this is happening, and more it's just a common occurrence.
Don't you think this is such a great time for all of these? I mean, just to have this tool and to see all these things happening to people, and how the smallest little thing causes this butterfly effect in someone's life. And
Yes. Dolores saying, show my bookmark. So here's a picture of her, that one. And then this is on top.
we are living in the most important time in the history of the universe.
And the most exciting, absolutely.
Yeah.
These used to be put in Dolores's books years ago when one would sell.
Well, that's really cool. So, do you think this is all indicative of the shift that we're all going through, or do you think this is going to be a long-term thing? How do you feel about this whole thing? Because like I'm okay with the quick flash and things, but I can also see how some of the things they've seen in QHHT and BQH sessions are possibly fast forwarding this flash, and maybe it's a decade or 20 years, and you've only got so long in a session, so maybe things are sped up and you can see how, and then all of a sudden we interpret it as like, oh, there's going to be this bright flash, and in an instant this is going to happen or whatever. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think Allison Coe is brilliant in asking some of these questions.
Oh, yeah.
She gets, it's interesting watching how all of this works. I watch Allison. She gets a lot of her clients are very much focused on that aspect of it, and so she gets multiple clients focusing on a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different versions of all of that, and then she's so brilliantly able to bring that information forward. Other people, and I don't have the time to watch a bunch of Alba's stuff, but Alba's my friend and my colleague, and I know some of the things she focuses on. And, a lot of this, sending to the light and entity removal and stuff like that. So she gets like a lot of those kinds of clients, right? And over the years, I've had the whole gamut. I've absolutely had the whole gamut. But the healing, the personal healing, still seems to be kind of the upper part of what my energy is, and the kind of clients that come to me. So if I get earth changes and things like that, they're usually seen through a kind of a personal lens. They always match this other stuff that's going on, but I don't do a lot of dissecting like Allison does, which is actually, I think, is cool, which is another reason why I like watching her videos. I see it happen also on our forum. Does it happen? Yes. I think I'm always brought to the idea that, like the Mandela effect and like all of the different possible versions of reality, you're sitting in it all the time, Dolores is saying, tell your doctor story. And I'm like, okay. So, so I wrote I think I wrote an article about this. If I didn't, it was a forum post, but she says you're dialing in and out of different realities just constantly. It's like you're constantly doing that. And she says, here's a small example that will tell you. So let's say you get up in the morning and you're waking up and your energy is up like this, and you're just coming kind of getting out of bed, and then all of a sudden you remember that like you've got this doctor's appointment later on in the day, and you're a little worried about it. You kind of, your energy drops, and you've just now shifted into a different reality. And then you kind of get yourself going, and you get into your routine, and maybe you're taking a shower, you're doing something else, and you've kind of already forgotten about the doctor appointment again. And it's you've shifted into another reality, and you're going about your day, but then, oh gosh, you got to get in the car again, and you're going to the doctor again, and bang, you're shifting back to the other reality. You're constantly shifting. And that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. But it's very, very illustrative of how your energy just shifts and moves things all the time, and or why surrounding yourself with people who are upbeat most of the time, who try to focus on the positive, who don't wallow in the negative. Now that's not hiding, that's not ignoring everything awful and dismissing, because believe me, that's a whole other game that will backfire on you for sure. But all of those things can show you how at any single moment, all of that's going on. So the big flash, the whatever, if the whole world woke up, one day with the sun shining and everyone in a great mood and everyone feeling like magic might happen that day, I think that kind of world could produce that visible flash that we all see, right?
Oh, totally.
I think it's true, and I think we are seeing some of it. And I think some people, just like always, some people will see things that other people kind of don't. And yeah, there's just so many different ways of looking at this.
And then, of course, they can ignore things right in front of them, too. I mean, we've all missed things right in front of us, right?
Yeah, sure thing.
Just not having the right perspective or whatever. Which I think is good, because I think, so you feel like it's an individual, very much individual, isn't it?
Absolutely. Just absolutely. But that doesn't mean you can't create that. If you're,
Right.
if you're focused on it, if that magic calls to you or something. But if you're counting on it, and if you're, if you're making all your other decisions on it, and if you've got a timetable on it, and,
Yeah.
and here she is again, you're the most powerful in the now. Now is your powerful moment. So this looking towards any kind of event is with details kind of minimizes it. Just be the kid on Christmas morning. You don't know how it's going to play out. That's the best way to approach it.
I totally agree with that, too. Yeah, just keep working towards it and being in the now. And I think anything like that, where you're sort of waiting for something in the future, can be a trap, because then you're like, well, I'll just sit back and relax and wait for this to happen. But, there's always plenty of things for us to be working on, right? So.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's why we're here. If you're still here, it's because you're still working on something. That's for sure. And, I think that's kind of why Dolores left the way she did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She saw that it could go on. She saw that it could go on without her, the human part of her. And then I think pretty much as soon as she was on the other side, she saw how she could absolutely continue this work. And she's, as far as I know, the most reachable human in the spirit realm of anyone I know.
Does she come through a lot on your sessions?
Constantly, yes, all the time. And that probably is the focus, a lot of focus of my sessions. And people will pick up the phone or send me an email, and they'll say, I know you're not going to believe this, but, and then they'll, and I'm like, no, I'll probably believe it. And they will just say something, and they will tell me a Dolores story. And you can see, part of me wants to cry. Part of me wants to cry, because even these people who are contacting me with these stories frame their first sentences to me with the idea that I might think that they're fabricating, making it up, all that kind of stuff. And it just shows you how deep the programming we've been given since we were really, really small, completely programmed to dismiss anything wonderful and magical, or demonize it or be fearful of it, or all of those things. So
I
yeah.
think that's beautiful because that's how our whole group here. It's like people that can't talk to people in their real life about anything that's strange or out of the normal, and everybody comes here and they're welcomed with open arms. So that's a beautiful thing because we're all the weird people hanging out together. We found each other, thank goodness.
You've done a marvelous job bringing together a community, and I will always thank Lauren Hansen. I even remember how it all happened, Shane. I think I was sitting in my truck. I think I had just gotten home from like grocery shopping or something, and all of a sudden some text comes through, and I look down, and it's Lauren Hansen saying, you need to meet my friend Shane, and you need to go on his show. And I'm like, who? I didn't know who you were.
Right.
And she's like, no, here, go watch this, and you should meet up with him. And boy, I'm sure glad. And by the way, I was texting with Allison Coe today. We're going over some things that we're doing. She's going to be bringing up the rear, as she put it. She's going to be closing out Worldwide Regression Week on Easter Sunday in the evening. And when I told her, I got to go, Allison, I'm getting ready for a show. And she said, Shane? And I said, yes. And she said, please tell him hi and that I miss him.
Oh, I always miss Allison. We all love her over here. We always, if she's ever gone for very long, people start asking me about her. I'm like, I don't know, she's busy. What can I
Yeah,
say?
she is. That girl is busy.
Yeah, so I don't expect to hear back from her right away when I hit her up. I know that she'll eventually get to me because she's like I am, where you're just getting bombarded all the time, and it's like whatever's in front of you, you deal with. It seems to be the case, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
really great group of people.
if you haven't seen her last couple shows with James Gilliland, you really kind of need to, because I mean, I'm probably not giving anything away about this, but the first one she had with him was just so funny. I mean, they really didn't talk very much about anything. They just laughed together. It was hysterical. And so then the next show it was like called part 2. And I thought, okay, so now they're getting down to business, but they couldn't help themselves. They still kind of, I mean, farts made it into the second show too. They both start talking about it. And the part that's really, really funny is, she's like, I can't even think about farts without thinking about you. And I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean,
Oh my god.
forever and ever. I look at that word and I'm going to think about the conversation that Allison had with James Gilliland about her mother going to the kitchen.
Oh my god.
I mean, just hysterical. But you know what? That is why people love Allison. And
Yeah.
even laughing like this, she's not even here. And look at the laughter she's inspiring. And that laughter, there's a reason we say laughter is the best medicine. It feels so good. It wakes up your cells. And this is the kind of joy, that keeps you healthy or healthier.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the reasons to keep living.
Definitely. So yeah, we love you, Allison. We love you, Lauren. Sorry you guys couldn't be here now, but of course we love you, and the whole crowd loved you here. It's cool. So she's got the big thing coming up in July, which I was like, oh my gosh, it's like she's really getting busy, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. I guess she's going to SETI. You were talking about going to SETI, and
Yeah,
what?
yeah. We're going a month after that. We're going in the beginning of August. So hopefully you'll be able to
Supposed
come
to let
down.
me know.
Yeah,
What?
I will. When I have the date, I will. I still don't know if it's the first or the second weekend, and they're right there in the calendar. I'm like, when are they going to do it? It's like they got to James's birthday and
Okay.
put things on hold. So we're
Okay.
like the week before we need to start scheduling things. So I'm watching it every day. I'm like, come on, come on. But
I know. Gosh, I'm already scheduled. I'm I'm scheduled out through this entire year already. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, a lot of that's family stuff, but work stuff too, sessions and more stuff, going on with quantumhealers.com and also BQH. We've got plans, man.
oh yeah. And just like what you were talking earlier with combining them, I worked in websites before, and I'm thinking about all of the work that would require to try to just combine URLs like that. It seems like it's almost like three different computers, and you're trying to get everything off of these three computers to mesh as if they're one computer. But yeah, so I know the work, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it seems like an easy thing, but I know the headache that's involved with that.
I have this memory, Shane, of it was in the early 1990s. My kids were, I think I still had one in diapers. And my husband, my husband brought home, this is called a laptop, he said, and then he was showing me, dial up and all that kind of stuff. And there was this weird thing that we all had, this idea. And the idea was this, that computers had gotten so good, they were going to save us from all this work so that we could have more fun. And you know what? No, the exact opposite has happened, at least for me. And as a matter of fact, I mean, even now that there's some people, while I'm taking a bathroom break. Well, didn't you bring your phone? Couldn't you have answered an email while you were doing that? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how it's gotten, and compulsive and obsessive and addictive as human beings can find themselves. There's a lot of times I get quite upset with these devices, and I try to run away to my barn and leave them all here.
Yeah, they can be quite a challenge, and they can be distracting, but at the same time, they've increased the level of what a single person can do at their terminal that was just impossible before. So it still comes down to how you use your time, I guess, and if you can figure it out, because I understand the frustrations.
Yep. You got to take care of yourself, though, and I'm the queen of saying that and then going, yeah.
Right.
Do that, too.
Well, shoot, we're almost, let's see, we could probably start the regression and then.
I can't wait.
Okay, awesome. So you wrote this and I recorded it. I pre-recorded it, but I'm going to play it for everybody. And I didn't do much tweaking. It's just pretty much how it is. Okay, so I can't mute you, Candace. So if you can mute yourself and.
I will mute myself, but can I ask you a question first?
Sure, yeah.
I'm real excited about this. I'm real excited. Have you ever led a group regression before?
Not live, no. No, so this pre-recorded live sort of thing here, and I get to join in with you guys and enjoy it. So
excellent.
I'd love to do that at some point, do guided meditations and guided regressions and stuff. But I stick to the script when I'm doing the, once it starts and they start answering questions or whatever, I can leave the script. But the whole induction thing, I find it's very comforting to have it there, as well as all the other things that are at your fingertips, just in case you need them.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
All right, I'm going to mute myself, and you let me know.
And you can kill your camera if you want, and I will tell you when we're back. Excuse me. Here. Let me go full. Okay. Stop my video here. All right. Okay, hope you guys are all ready. We're going to start here. Now, you may or may not have experienced journeys like this before in your life. But let's keep in mind the uniqueness of this moment. The sharing of this brand new energetic space right here and now with a group of loving individuals. So as we gather now in this safe and sacred space, I invite you to take a deep breath. In and out. Another. Just breathe and relax. And another. And as we begin this journey, remember, my voice will go with you everywhere you go. You will clearly hear me and understand me. And if at any time you wish to return to everyday conscious awareness, it will be so easy. You will simply open your eyes. So I invite you now to close your eyes and go deep within your beingness. If you wish, place your right hand upon your heart and place your left hand just below it or on top, whatever feels most comfortable. Become aware of how your body breathes. Follow the rhythm of your breathing, in and out, up and down, allowing you to flow deeper and deeper inside of your beingness. Imagine you are breathing in the light of love in through your heart, breathing it in through your heart and out through your heart, in through your heart and out through your heart. And as you breathe out, imagine it carrying any stress away, any energy that would hinder you from having a wonderful journey today. Now, place your hands wherever they feel comfortable, and let us imagine that there exists a beautiful golden cord that goes from your heart deep into the ground of the planet, this new earth. This cord passes through the floor and the ground and all the layers of the world, all the way to the very center of the new earth, where it anchors itself to Gaia's heart. You are now in pure contact with your heart and its wisdom and the physicality of the new earth. You are grounded and stable and strong. When you are in pure contact with your heart and its life force energy, you are also in pure contact with your divine knowingness, your inner wisdom, and original source life energy. When you are connected in this way, you are connected only to the highest and most pure and benevolent beings. With each breath, this truth vibrates deeper, deeper within your body, within your bones, and your blood, and your cells. And at the same time, this connection expands your conscious awareness. And as your awareness expands, you find it easy to just let go of all expectations. You find it easy to release the idea of anything at all needing to be a certain way. And you find that it is very nice feeling indeed. And so it is time to begin our journey. Imagine that we are taking a walk together in a beautiful place somewhere on this new earth. We come to a beautifully laid old stone wall, and behind that wall is a garden, a beautiful garden. There's a gate just there, just a few steps away. Let us go through the gate and into the garden. There are beautiful trees in this garden, a gentle winding path that takes us through. And there are flowers, so many flowers, beautiful flowers, lush and lovely. As we continue down the winding path, we see a bench up ahead, just under an open-armed tree. Let's sit on this bench under this tree, just for a while. And as we sit and rest, taking it all in, this new earth life in the garden, with all of its vibrant, beautiful colors within, a poem comes to mind. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. The words drift slowly through your mind. Where is that sand grain? Is it here? Is it now? Which flower has heaven? Can I go there? And if I can, how? The warm, gentle breeze now caresses your face, and you know in your heart, everything is nearby. Everything. Right here in this place. All that you need, every answer you seek, eternity, infinity, friends and family, and even sweet peace. From the bench you can see the edge of the garden come into view. And there in that wall there are doors, more than one, more than two. Many doors of various shapes and sizes, some wood, some metal. Some seem almost out of place, so you stand and walk closer to get a better look. More doors appear. So many appear and keep appearing. It seems a bit like a dream. Each is quite lovely. And as you take it all in, you stop. One door is calling to you oh so clearly. You see it now. A light seems to shine from within and without. And so you make your way there. And the energy changes. And sparkles fill the air. Open your door. Open your door. What do you see? Look around at the scene. Where are you now? What is this place? Take in all the details as they pour in. Remember these details to recall later. Look around you. What do you see? Acknowledge exactly where you are, exactly what you see. Remember exactly how you feel. Really sense yourself here and now. You feel and know and record with perfect clarity to recall later. Who are you in this place? Do you have a face or a body? See yourself now and remember yourself to recall later with perfect clarity. Take a moment and consider the story now that is here before you, that presents itself in front of you, by you and for you, with you, and then you take it all in as the explorer you are, with calmness and wisdom and faith. You know why you are here. Take all of it in. The who's, the why's, the what's and when's. It becomes so clear to you now. The gift of this journey is here before you now. View this gift with clarity. View this gift with thanksgiving. Understand this gift and remember this gift. Feel the overwhelming joy and excitement. Feel the unconditional love. Feel that powerful energy of love and wisdom pour into your heart and mind right now, giving you whatever you need for this portion of your journey you find yourself in. Understanding it now, accepting this place with strength that is grace, it's self-defined and felt and experienced. And should you ever feel or find or believe that you need to return to this time and place, you can with ease. You can just simply close your eyes and be back here. And so now that our journey has been completed, it is time now to once again return to the physical realm. Just come back to your own body. Come back now. And before you open your eyes, you take note of the expansion of your heart and the increased depth of your wisdom and knowing. And we send gratitude to all who participated, to all of our guides and our galactic families, our ascended master selves from the future, our ancestors, anyone at all that participated for the highest good for our journey today. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes feeling rejuvenated, grounded and centered. You can move around and stretch, get a drink of water. All right, it's like I got transported to another place and back. Okay. What did you guys think? Did you get a stroke of insight? How were you?
That was amazing, Shane.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Is my mascara running? I had tears in my eyes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was so amazing. That was so. Did you close your eyes? Did you play? Did you go?
Yeah, I did. I had to be careful because I did it earlier and I went really deep, and I was like, all right, I want to make sure I don't, conk out for the show or something.
Yeah,
But
because you're still doing the show,
right. So I have to keep some level of alertness, awareness. You
right?
know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I did check it out earlier with the breathing, and because sometimes it's hard to get the timing right on all that stuff, and it's just I don't know. I appreciate being able to pre-record it though. So
Oh, well, I've got my phone up, so I'm looking at maybe what some of the people are saying there. But do you want me to share what happened to me?
yeah, definitely. Let's hear it.
Oh gosh. Okay, so when I got to the gate and started to go through the gate, so since your voice was leading, you were there. So it was
Hmm.
kind of you and me, but there were other people coming, but since you were kind of leading, so you were there, opening up the gate and going into the garden, and more people came in, and then I absolutely had Dolores. Dolores was there, and the garden was so beautiful, and there was like a water element with koi and stuff, and Emoto was standing there, so Masaru Emoto was over there. And as we were moving to the bench and we sat down, I turned and I looked at the gate where we came in, and the garden just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more and more and more and more and more people came in. And I was just watching all of that, And so then when you described the doors in the walls, and there were so many of them and so many of them, and all of these people were going to all their different doors. And some were, old doors with iron, handles. Some were ornately carved doors with golden handles. Some were curtains, there's
Hmm.
a curtain there. Some were like rainbow light. There was just like all these different, and everybody was going to all these different doors. So one of them, I'm supposed to go to a door too. So I go to a door, and Emoto and Dolores come with me then. but I'm still watching everyone else, because that's the part that's really
Yeah.
affecting me, is watching all the other people who are doing this too, is the biggest part for me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, my door is over here, but look at what's going on over here. So I go
Yeah.
to my door and I open it, and it reminds me of oh gosh, what's that? I always forget that Jim Carrey movie, the one where he's in a reality show. What why do
Oh,
I
the Truman Show.
why do I always, something about Truman just seems to not stick in my head, but Truman, it seemed a little Truman like. I opened up I mean, just kind of how kind of surreal it was. So I opened up my door, and there was this light, and there was, and it was various, it was either like the sky, or then it became the cosmos. But the whole idea was, yes, I could step into that and go wherever I wanted to go. But I was still, my real interest, my real reason, the whys, when it was like the why are you doing this? Why is this, you're having this experience? Because I'm still boots on the ground, and I'm still interested in all of these people who are coming through the gate and finding their doors. That's my purpose. That's my, this is where this is what is important right now, you know?
And it very much is like that, isn't it? We all have our own unique door, and it's sort of getting to that point where it seems like all the world views and stuff sort of discourage you from allowing someone to open the door that they want to open. We're sort of like, we're taught this, like, no, everybody must go through your door, but it's not like that at all. That's ridiculous when you really think about it. Everyone's on their own journey.
Yeah, sure it is.
And it's a beautiful thing when you can embrace that and you don't feel like you have to control it, because that all stems from ego. I know the right way and you must come through
Yeah.
my door, so to speak.
Yeah, come here. That's the wrong door for you. It doesn't matter if you've got sparkles and light over in front of your door. This is the right door.
You're like, no, mine has sparkles in front of it. You're like, no, mine does. And, we don't realize that everyone has sparkles in front of their own door, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Biker Babe said she was an angel in the clouds. Rainbow Queen says that was magical. Thank you.
Oh gosh, somebody said
Oh,
that
did
you got
Allison hop in here? Hey, Allison. You missed it.
Allison's here.
Somebody asked if her ears were burning. No, just good things about you, Allison. That's
Uh,
so cool, though. A year ago, I was going into a trance from Allison doing the regression with you last year, the one that you wrote and then she read or whatever. So,
how
my,
wonderful.
my, my, have we come a long way. That's so awesome.
I've
That's
seen
wonderful.
Dolores' name in here somewhere too. A couple people saw Dolores or heard Dolores too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere too. Oh, Rainbow Queen's also from Portland. This is such a cool thing to have our little tribe, our little group of people.
Yep. So I
Okay,
don't
so
know if you heard me say this, but I told him everything you told me to tell him, Allison.
yeah, I'm excited, Allison. Gosh, you got that big event coming up, and then again in September. So I might just have to go every 6 months, because it was almost exactly 6 months that I went just here at the equinox, spring equinox. So how are you going to round out your week? What do you have? Do you have any announcements about anything coming up that you want to? I do have a link to your channel, of course, but
Sure.
I don't.
Well, our event page is easy to find. You can go to quantumhealers.com. There's a tab up front. It says just click here, or it's /WRW 2019. We have, after tonight, we have more of our 5-minute videos that everybody's been producing for us. By the way, 79, yes, 79. I edited 79 videos for all of this, and they're continuously kind of playing every day. And then tomorrow, our evening event, both tomorrow and Saturday, we have roundtable events. And so what were those? Well, we brought together a handful of practitioners on 2 different days and presented them with a subject and a question, and we just kind of went to town. And what I love about these roundtables is this is kind of how our forum works, right? our quantum healers support forum community. Practitioners get together and we just chat. We talk about everything that we do. We share stories. We give each other tips. But so it's kind of like an inside look at how we chat with each other, practitioners like that. But it's a lot of fun. So we're doing that one round table with one group of people tomorrow night, Friday night, and another one on Saturday night with videos throughout. And then, of course, our Allison Co. will be the grand finale Sunday evening, Easter Sunday. And so that will round out Worldwide Regression Week 2019. And what a week it has been for Dolores Cannon and her fans, and really all of those greats out there who've submitted and contributed so much work to this field of regression therapy. And that means even you people out there who've only done one session or who've gone to a session as a client, all of you have contributed as well. Your energy, added to this movement. You were part of the people that I was seeing in my own little vision here, my own little journey that changes brought us on. That's all you. And every one of you is just another facet of a beautiful, sparkling diamond that makes the whole thing complete.
That's so true. That's so beautiful too. And I tell people that all the time. Like, thanks for all you do. I'm like, yeah, it'd be nothing without you guys here. So
Right?
we're all doing this. We're all part of the body, as they say.
Yep, we are.
Well, that's awesome. So I did add that link below, and gosh, halfway through the week already. You still got a lot to go, and kudos to you for putting this all together. I know what it takes to do all this stuff behind the scenes. 70, you said 79 videos?
79.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I count all the emails that have come in and all the other stuff, but it's all been great. I'm going to start earlier next year though. And I'm going to ask for more help. But it's been such a great learning curve too. And these roundtables, I'm thinking roundtables should be far more of a weekly or monthly thing than just during this week. That was a lot of fun. And I'm going to see if I can't figure out. The biggest problem with that is schedules. Everybody's so busy. And then the world clock, trying to get it a time when one of them we did, our wonderful Stephanie Scheck, it was like midnight where she was doing hers.
Yeah.
And, it can be tough to be, on top of your game at midnight.
Yeah, Tiffany's saying it's after midnight for her right now. So
well, thanks for joining us, Tiffany, and all of you out there who have joined us in the journey tonight, and all of you in the future who are joining us on the replay. You will just add your own sparkle to that facet and make this an even bigger thing every time you listen to the journey.
Well, just so you guys know, anytime you want to have a round table over here, that would be cool. I mean, that would maybe even just moving it around with each of the round tables quarterly or something. That would be cool.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely adore that idea. Allison, if you're still listening, will you join us? Will you join us on our round table?
Yeah, mark your calendars. When I came out of this whole group regression now, I looked and there was 111 people watching, and I was like,
how wonderful.
Why does that not surprise me?
How wonderful is that? Hey, are you going to give us any more details about like what happened with you tonight on this journey? I mean, did you tell us? Where did you go?
Oh, you're saying through my
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You don't have to.
This time around, I kind of pulled myself out. I kind of left-brained it a little bit, so I was there more superficially. Earlier though, oh gosh,
why don't you share that one or a little bit part of that one before you run away or anything? Everyone wants to know where you got to go.
Well, for me, I went into just a beautiful forest where I was like miniature, kind of like on the Avatar movie, where they're on these trees, they're running on these branches that look like they should be like a small branch, but so it was sort of the grandness of this place, and I think, my message in that was to realize how much a part of the whole that we all are, but it's a small part of the whole, There's this big, beautiful world out there beyond Earth, too.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I heard in a session once a number of years ago that has always just stuck with me. I mean, imagine this, the physical part of reality, the physical part is so infinitesimally small that the majority of beings out there who are non-physical, they're so bewildered about the concept of physicality that some of them don't believe that it's possible. Think about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? That when on their society and their way of living, there's people who talk who say, and then there's these beings and they actually have physical bodies and they have to move around in them, and the beings in that place are going, get out, that's not real.
Right. That's so funny. Yeah, I think about stuff like that all the time. That's part of why we got our little group here to talk about other people, talk to other people about stuff like that.
Yeah, and in reality, it is true. So that gives you an idea that being here, even if being here is hard, you guys out there, being here is hard, but it is like a lottery ticket to be here. Some beings never get the chance to experience what we're experiencing right now. And there's part of you that's like, I just want to get out of here. This is too hard. This is too much. But as soon as you're gone, you go, oh, now I see the gift in that, right? So much of what we try to do is just pay attention to that gift now. And yeah, it can be hard, and that doesn't mean everything's roses, but just try to find the joy in it all, because it's so joyful. Go look outside right now. If you're in the Midwest, look at the sky. It's crazy. It's so beautiful outside today. What a glorious day it's been.
Yeah, and I love the spring. It's just bringing about this whole renewed feeling and stuff. So the spring is a wonderful time, and I can see why she was born in the spring, just to give us this feeling while we get together in honor of Dolores Cannon. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about that. So, lots of love to all of you guys in the chat that joined us here today. And if you are joining in late, we're going to have Candace Craw-Goldman back on May 2nd at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to get in more into, Nostradamus, Notre Dame, and...
Yep, and Dolores Cannon. Yeah, we are going to focus on that because we have only scratched the surface of the possibilities in that relationship and everything there is to talk about there, and the coincidences of the timing and the dates. We're only just beginning to understand the hugeness of what happened.
The coincidences that
right? What happened this past Monday, and that it was Worldwide Regression Week. I could just fall down. Crazy how it all works, but very, very grateful to be in this with all of you out there, including you, Shane. What a blessing it is to know you and call you friend. Thank you.
Definitely. My pleasure having you on. Thank you guys so much, and come back and see us on the 2nd, and we'll find out more about that. I think we're going to have more developments between now and then anyway, so I think it's perfect, divine timing, as they say. So lots of love to you. I appreciate you, Candace. Bye, you guys in the chat. Peace. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.